What's up guys, Syncweaver here, and I'm going to give you the TLDR on the Final Fantasy XIV announcement showcase that was just shown a few hours ago. Just wanting to keep the information short and bite-sized for you guys who need to be on the go and doesn't have an hour and 30 minutes to know everything. So let's get to it. So the first thing you're going to figure out is that it had an announcement trailer on the new expansion. It's a very small CGI, which is very good, and it shows a little bit of what we're going to get into for the new expansion, but it is called Endwalker, which doesn't mean that this is the last expansion. I'm going to knock that out of the park right now. There's no last expansion here. It just means that it's the end of one, I guess, chronicle or something, end of a storyline. I'm not too sure, but it does show Alisaie with a new outfit and Alphinaud with a new outfit and a new weapon. Apparently he has a new job, which we're going to be talking about after. So we actually see ourselves in the end times, I guess. Certain dangers are happening, and we are making our way to the moon. And I just want to say this right now. I called it. If you join my streams, I always said, when people will ask me, where do you think we were going? I said, I think we're going to go to Garlemald, and I think we're going to go to the moon. And I will explain the Garlemald part even later, so stay tuned. So later on, Yoshi P starts talking about the new job that we saw in the teaser trailer, and it's called Sage. Now, nobody saw this one coming. I will say that I didn't see this one coming. I always thought it was going to be a Geomancer who was going to be the next healer, and apparently Sage has been thrown in our face a couple times. I may have missed it, but maybe it was a hint or a cameo or a reference. I don't know. But apparently Sage is known somewhere in the story, and I don't know where. If it is, somebody just link it in my Discord or tell me in the comments where they saw it or where the reference was. But Sage is the new healer job that we're going to get in the expansion. It's going to start out at level 70, and you can find it in Limsa Lominsa. Of course, you're going to have the expansion to access it, and it's going to also divide, I guess, the healers. So for a long time we had White Mage, Scholar, and Astrologian. Where Sage comes in, it's going to finally divide the four healers that we're going to get finally, a fourth healer. We're going to have White Mage and Astro as what is called pure healers, who are just going to heal purely through heals and regen, and perhaps Astro is going to get dumbed down with their shield or barrier heals, whereas Scholar and Sage is going to be a barrier healer, where they're going to bulk up on defense and heal you through barriers and defenses like that. And I think that's kind of cool. I think I'm going to definitely like Sage. It looks awesome. I just hope it doesn't play bad in any kind of way. But it's a new healer, and I'm always excited to see a new job. He does want to hint what we are going to see for the next job, and a lot of people has been speculating it may be Necromancer, but they've been shooting that down every which way in this stream just to say that Necromancer is probably not what we're going to have, seeing how we're going to get a melee DPS as the new job coming out in this new expansion, which is kind of exciting. So what we're going to get in this expansion are possible answers to questions that we've had throughout the series. Sorry about that. Like what were the final days for the Ancients? What are the weird secrets to Hydaelyn and Zodiark, and even deeper mysteries as we embark ourselves to finally end what has been going on for perhaps since the beginning of the Sundering. So that's what this tale is supposed to conclude, the whole fight between dark and light. But we're supposed to get answers in this expansion as to who, what, where, Hydaelyn, Zodiark, Ancients. We're supposed to find everything else here, and as I said before, we're actually going from Garlemald to the moon, And there's one other location that we have to talk about. So I'm going to sidetrack here from locations, but they wanted to emphasize the fact that this is just not the end of Final Fantasy XIV. So we had a Realm Reborn, which is supposed to be like the sun rising on a new game, a new land. The Blue Sky, which is supposed to be Heavensward. The Crimson Twilight, which is like the sunset for Stormblood. And the Dead Black Night, which is Shadowbringers. And Endwalker is supposed to be a New Dawn, which is, I know it's called Endwalker, but it's supposed to represent a new beginning for 14 in its own way. And I appreciate that he's trying to, settle down the people who think that this is going to be the last expansion. It's not. Good on Yoshi P for trying to not have people go around saying, oh, it's going to be the last expansion, guys. It's going to be the last expansion. So we're going to get a level boost to 90. However, I'm going to come back to the whole level boosting thing and talk about the location. Do you guys remember how or where Dancer comes from? They talked about Thavnair for a little bit if you did the story and you were paying attention. They talk about where Dancer comes from. Well, you actually go to that location while in this new expansion, a place called Thavnair. You actually go and see where dancers come from, and you I think you might even go to a new dungeon in that location, but it's kind of like the size of Yulmore in a way, and you can see how just how dancers look, where they get their aesthetics and their style from. Definitely does match what Thavnair looks like, and they give us a few art screenshots. But one of the most surprising things, to where I was just punching the sky saying hell yeah, I was right, was the fact that we get to go to Garlemald. But Garlemald is all types of messed up in the art, and we get to see just some of the locations in Garlemald, because you got to remember they were in the middle of a civil war. They're broken now. Garlemald is very much broken, missing a leader, trying to find a new leader, and trying to also have a war with the rest of Eorzea at the same time. So we get to go to Garlemald. I was right. And we also get to go to the moon. I was right. So far, I just want to talk about this real quick because I want to, brown nose myself a little bit. I just want to give myself a little bit of credit, but I've been right for pretty much every expansion, because the first time we were going to get an expansion in Heavensward, I said we're probably going to have to do something with that castle floating, not even floating, but just standing there, which was Ishgard. And I'm like, we're probably going to have something to do with their dragon war. I was right. Stormblood came. I knew that everybody knew that we were liberating Alamigo. Everybody knew that with the trailers and everything, we were going to go to the Far East, especially seeing how we had someone from the Far East visit us in Heavensward who found shelter. So, at that time, people from Doma were finding shelter in Eorzea, and I knew that we were probably going to have to go over there, but I didn't think we would actually go to two different countries, so to say. But I knew that one, the blonde-haired girl that was in the teaser trailer was Lise. Her name wasn't Lise at the time, it was Yida, but I was just like, that's Yida, isn't it? And people were just like, man, that can't be Yida. And I was like, no, that's definitely Yida. So I was right about that. I was right in guessing in who that person was, because they were trying to keep that as a mystery. I think for Shadowbringers, I definitely predicted that we were going to another world, and everybody knew that we were going to have to go to another world anyway, but I predicted that perhaps where we're going, we're going to have to bathe the world in shadow, because we're going to have to follow Ardbert to that world, because there were so many clues. That one was the easiest, honestly. That one was the easiest and on the nose. Anybody could have probably got that prediction. And then last, I knew about this. I predicted that we were going to go to Garlemald, and I predicted we were going to go to the moon. And yeah, I can see the future. Another interesting thing here is that I don't know if anybody remember or encounter like giant elephant monsters or beastmen, and like in some of those treasure portals where you have to fight a giant elephant that pops up out of nowhere sometimes. we actually get to visit and meet the beastmen that I guess, you know, that's their race, called the Matanga, and they're big elephant people who have a sort of like maybe Indonesian, maybe African kind of look, maybe Indian kind of look. I'm all for it. I cannot wait to interact with these big hulking elephant people and see what they have to offer and see how they talk. Honestly, I'm actually excited for the new Beastmen. I'm excited to see this, and hope this goes well when it comes out. See their culture and see how they live, because they live near Garlemald, and we need to see, or I want to see, how this is affecting them. One of my favorite things that we get to know is that when we get to the moon, we find ourselves interacting with a certain creature. Yeah, Anima from Final Fantasy X seems to be in 14 now, and I want to show this to one of my best friends, whose name is actually the Aeon Anima, who has his own stream, and he doesn't just play Final Fantasy X, but Final Fantasy X is his favorite Final Fantasy of all time, and Anima being in 14 hopefully goads him into actually playing 14 this time. But yeah, Anima is in 14, and Yoshi P made the very small itty-bitty mistake here by saying he for Anima, when we fans know that in 10 it was a she. Anima's a female. But to see Anima actually in this game has me questioning a lot of things on what's on the moon, but at the same time very excited to see that we have something familiar from a past great game, and is coming to us in Final Fantasy XIV. Makes me wonder what else is coming in terms of designs like that. And in fact, apparently the art designer for Final Fantasy X's Anima is helping on the team in terms of art and design in the 14 team. So someone from 10 is helping with people in 14. It's kind of cool. We also get some art design, seeing a little bit of what we are going to have, just a little bit of things that we're going to interact with, a little bit of things that we're probably going to see along the story within Walker. And I'm sorry, I'm fudging up my words here because I'm trying to find the right words here, but it looks like we'll face some very heated situations, and it looks like we're actually gonna, you know, even go into like a more industrial setting with a train, with what it looks like. Not too sure, but I'm sure that's like under Garlemald or something. I think there's a piece of art in here, if I can show you guys, that depicts kind of like a creepy setting. I think that's within the moon, but that's just me guessing. They don't actually say it in stream. Of course, we're going to get new high-end raids that does involve something new and something familiar. So I don't know if you guys see this, but you know, the half-mast Asian, they were trying to say that, you know, that's probably Laha Breha, and you know, all of us are thinking like, didn't we just beat Laha Breha? Didn't we beat him in Heaven's Word? Is he not dead? And it's like, I don't think we actually killed Laha Breha, but maybe we did, maybe we didn't, but apparently it has something to do with Laha Breha. The new raid is actually going to be called Pandemonium. Now, if you guys know your references right, Pandemonium is a place in Final Fantasy II. So it's going to be a creepy, maybe chaotic setting. Of course, we're going to get a new Alliance raid, and it's going to be totally new. It's not a guest this time. It's not someone working on Ivalice. It's not it's probably going to be original, kind of like the Void Arc series, but it's not like hopefully it's something, but it's not a reference apparently like Final Fantasy III or Final Fantasy Tactics or even Nier Automata. It's going to be totally new. We're also getting new small-scale PvP modes. They're trying to work on something that is small, bite-size, and doesn't have any job restrictions, so you can just get in, play, have some fun, and have a good time. I mean, they'll think of something. Yoshi P did comment saying that these are the type of people that put all of Mahjong in 14, so yeah, they'll think of something, and I'm actually slightly excited for that, even though I wasn't ever too big on PvP. Of course, there are new side quests, new role quests, new crafters and gatherer quests. However, the role quest is going to be different. Instead of it being just tanks, healers, melee DPS and range DPS. They're adding magical DPS to that, so there are going to be 5 role quests altogether. That way that they can work on the uniqueness of the range, the magical, and the physical DPS, along with like the healer and the tank. So it's going to be something new. They're taking something that they did in Shadowbringers, which made so that we didn't have to go and level each jobs to go through each of their stories. We just went through the role quests, and you leveled up or you got to see a story through the role quests, and I'm kind of excited for that, and I'm glad they're adding a little bit something that we can do that's not... I mean, there wasn't really anything too wrong with range and magical being in the same role, but they wanted to try something new, and I'm okay with that. They're also going to do something new with the gatherers and crafters. I think it's going to be mostly the same, but hey, until we see it. So the trust system has been updated. There's going to be a new character to the trust system. You know him, you love him. It's Astinian. He is coming to the trust system, which is supposed to help with our melee DPS problem that we didn't have in the trust system. But it was kind of funny that he pointed that out. But yeah, we have a Dragoon in the trust system, and I don't know how people feel about a Dragoon being in their party. I hope he's just not going to weigh us down, and I hope he won't flip off of a cliff, and I hope he doesn't dive into stupid. But hey, it's Astinian. We should have faith. So they're also going to add something for all of us, whether you like to fight or you're a gatherer or crafter. It's called Island Sanctuary. Now you could be anything, but there you're probably raising crops. You're probably, they said that you're going to be doing stuff that like raising crops, you know, crafting, taking care of animals on a farm. And from the pictures, it looks more like Harvest Moon 14 to me, and I love Harvest Moon, so I am all for this. It also looks like you have your minions down there. You probably can have like a minion ranch or something, maybe a mount ranch. Hey guys, think we were from the future and I forgot to put this in, but we get a new residential district in Ishgard. We're allowed to look at it in 6.0, and in 6.1 we get to buy the plots, so you can look forward to that in the expansion. And I can't believe I forgot to put this in. So here comes the battle system adjustments. Yeah, there's downscaling. So apparently there was like bugs and some glitches and problems for them when scaling up higher and higher with the numbers. We're going to level 90. So this is why I wanted to talk about the whole level 90 thing. We're going to level 90, and going up means more numbers, which means more damage, which means stats are going to have to be rearranged. In this case, they decided to downscale in order to not have a certain bug apparently be implemented or act on itself while playing the game, which apparently messes up the numbers when it comes to stats and damages. So they're going to downscale it. To give reference, if you were a black mage and you're doing 50,000 damage, it's going to scale down to 10,000 damage. Now, a lot of people who've played World of Warcraft would probably say downscaling never really works, but we don't know how it's going to work for 14. None of us weren't reaching like the millions and millions of numbers, which I think I've seen in World of Warcraft in the past. We've only been up through and to the 100,000s. So we're scaling down from that, which also means that everything else in terms of content, everything else in terms of mobs and monsters, bosses, trials, they're also going to scale down with us. So HP, their stats, everything is going to scale down so that the numbers don't mess up as we grow in levels, since we're going from level 1 to level 90, and level 90 is a pretty high number. Makes me wonder if they're going to do something similar in the future where WoW had to shrink from like level 120, I think, to 1 to 60. Not too sure, but I mean, we'll see what happens in the future with that. But it's supposed to help with the numbers, and it's supposed to help the game stay functional and not lag on itself. So maybe a lot of times you'll find yourself lagging, and it could be the fact that you're doing high numbers. I don't know. Usually when I see myself doing over 100k damage, it's kind of cool and I like it. So they even give you and break down why they're doing it. The calculations causing overflow resulting in bugs. Calculations for enmity has apparently reached its limit. Flying text becoming lengthy, and enemy HP is becoming monstrously high. They even gave us like a sample of what a 5.5 content in the boss that's coming with that content, how high it's going to scale in terms of the HP. And apparently it's the highest HP pool in all the bosses in patch 5.5, which is 440 million. Just to give you guys a reference, most of the bosses in Eden from 9 to 12 may only go just over 70 million. So just think about that for a second. I don't know about the ultimate bosses, but if we're talking 440 million, it's probably a new ultimate boss that they're bringing out in 5.5, and if it is, then I predict it right because I didn't see the live letter at this point in time. And 2, someone's a damage sponge. Like, holy crap. So apparently the plan and what the difference is from level 51 to 80, everything will be reduced. And from 80 to 90, you'll still feel more power coming to you as you raise your level. However, for those of you who don't know, going from level 51 and up does feel a little bit different. What they're going to do is change how much experience that you need to get in order to level up. They're going to shrink that. And they don't want you to take all day getting from level 50 to 60 apparently. But I think that also means that they're going to shrink the experience. I'm not too sure. They didn't say anything about that, but they're saying that it'll be a lot easier to level up from what it sounds like, because they're shrinking the total amount of experience that you need to level up. They want it to go down, which is kind of cool. I mean, it's kind of fun being able to power level yourself all the way up to 80 with no effort whatsoever. I'm not saying that's what's happening. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but it does seem like the downscaling will probably have its few problems. We'll just have to wait and see. So one of the things that they are also doing in order to help with stats and scaling is they're taking away the belts. Yeah, they're taking away the belts. Their thing is that belts didn't really do much in terms of changing stats, even though it did change a little bit of the stats, and it wasn't really so important. So they're taking the belt away from all of the characters. That also means that in your inventory, in your retainers, everything is all the belts is going away. I would advise taking your materia out of those belts when the time comes. This will happen in the expansion, so yeah, no more belts. You're probably wondering what's going to happen with the rest of the slots, right? What's going to happen with the 15 slots that were there for the belts? 35 slots that was for your belts. 15 is going into your primary weapons, and 15 is going into your rings. So you're going to have your primary weapons, more for your primary weapons, and more for your rings. And he argued that, yeah, we need our rings. He obviously would say that, being the guy who's wearing like a jewelry store on his fingers. But he also says that, I guess through graphical quality, I guess you can turn rings off, or they're going to turn the graphics for the rings off your fingers. I never really minded the rings on the fingers. I always thought that was kind of fun. But you can't edit that. You can't really change what you see on your fingers when you wear a ring. I just thought it was okay. So they're also going to try this new data center travel. We already have server travel, so we can go from different servers within the data center, but data center travel is probably going to be more complicated with more restrictions. They want us to be able to go from one data center to another to, snap pictures with them and have fun with them. But he didn't really say, at least from what I've heard, if we can join raids together, if we can join battles together or dungeons together. That might be pushing it a little bit with the data center, but I think they may be able to pull it off. They did say that it's going to take a lot of work outside the game, like their systems and servers, in order for this data center travel to work, but it's going to be complicated, and hopefully nothing messes up when it comes out. Somewhere around the ending of the showcase, the CEO of Square Enix pops up on stage, and he wanted to talk about how Final Fantasy XIV will be on the PlayStation 5. Surprise, surprise, it's going to be coming out in April, and it's going to be, well, it's not coming out in April, but there's going to be a beta test coming out for April just to see how it works for the PlayStation 5. They showed a little bit of what it's going to be like playing Final Fantasy XIV on the PlayStation 5, 4K resolution, 4K, even though I can get 4K on mine, faster loading time, which, okay, even though I have a computer and I should be able to also load everything faster, and a significant improvement to the frame rate, which, okay, but you know, I have a computer and I should be able to do the same thing, so I'm not really too sure why they're trying to market the PlayStation 5 that a PC really can just do already. But hey, they're trying to market the PlayStation 5, they made a deal with the PlayStation 5, that's fine. And of course, people who are playing the PlayStation 4 can move on to the PlayStation 5. Apparently, you can go ahead and transfer that account or upgrade the account from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5 for free. Of course, you're going to have to get the license. I think they say that you're going to have to get the license to be able to play on the PlayStation 5 rather than the PlayStation 4, and I'm not really too sure about like getting the game. I'm sure you're probably gonna have to get another game for the PlayStation 5. Okay, so what they say for the PlayStation 5 version, those are players whose Final Fantasy XIV service account has a registered license, you have to have a registered license for the PlayStation 4 version, may download and play the PlayStation 5 Upgrade Edition at no extra costs. Of course, you're gonna have to pay the monthly subscription though, that's there. But yeah, so you can, if you have a registered license for the PlayStation 4, you can download and play the PlayStation 5 Upgraded Edition with no extra cost. Of course, I'm pretty sure you're still going to have to get the license, so make sure you get the license for the PlayStation 5. Unless, you know, this vague wording means that the license also upgrades from the PlayStation 4 to the PlayStation 5. Not too sure. But hey, he also went on and talked about how the information on the fan festival, they're all going to be digital, they're all going to be live streamed. However, for those of you who are going to try to attend the digital live stream, sorry about that, he has a special surprise for all of us. Yeah, you know how we're going to go to the moon, right? So I was really upset when he showed this mount. When you participate in the live stream for the fan festival, you get the Lunar Whale mount. The Lunar Whale mount will be available as long as you're watching the stream. Like if you want to put your money somewhere, and because the live stream is going to be free, if you want to put your money somewhere, I believe you can pay whatever the ticket price or whatever the amount price was towards the whole fan festival thing and get a Lunar Whale. Now, the whole watching it and getting the Lunar Whale thing, that's just, I think that's a conjecture from some people, because that's what I'm hearing. From what I know in terms of all this, if you still want to put some type of like financial value into watching the fan festival digitally, you want to put your money into it, you will get the Lunar Whale as a mount. And I was upset because I was thinking the Lunar Whale was how you're going to get to the moon. But, you know, we don't know what's going to happen. Maybe there's another one. I don't know. I mean, we don't know how you're going to get to the moon. But the Lunar Whale is a mount, and it's the first 8-player mount in 14. So it's worth getting. By far, probably going to be the best mount you'll ever get, even though it's a living, breathing, moving, freaky, kind of wiggly ship. And it's huge, and it looks like you go inside the thing, but it's a cool mount. You get 8 seats, and I hope that a lot of people do attend the fan festival. I certainly will, and I will try to get the Lunar Whale as a mount and, you know, drive my friends everywhere. You also get little minions if you join the fan festival as well. Digital fan festival, of course. You get the minion Edge, Rosa, and Rydia, who are all from Final Fantasy IV, along with the Lunar Whale, which is from Final Fantasy IV. But I do like the characters for Edge over there. They look like two smiles. Kind of cute. I do like these minions. They look kind of cool. I'm really excited for the Rydia one, because I love Rydia. I will definitely try and find a way to get the Rydia minion. And we got our please look forward to it at the end here with the artwork. And the artwork looks kind of cool. You have Hydaelyn on top and Zodiark on the bottom, and they're kind of like mimicking what a certain summoned creature from Final Fantasy X did, you know, being, you know, part of each other, and one is like in the physical plane and the other is in like another plane. Yeah, I mean, just to give you a hint, we were talking about it in this video, but it is cool art, and I really do like it. It's supposed to, if you look at this art, there's supposed to be hints as to where the story is going, and that's all he said. I could probably make a whole video on this picture alone, but I won't. That's not why I'm here. I'm here to give you the TLDR on the showcase, and that's what I did. So what do you guys think? Well, what is your opinion on everything on the news for the showcase? What are you looking forward to? What do you think the new melee class, the melee DPS class, is going to be in the new expansion? Let me know on everything in the comments below, and if you haven't, join my Discord, where you can also talk about a whole bunch of Final Fantasy stuff if you like, or it doesn't have to be Final Fantasy, it could be anything. Anyway, thank you for all your support, thank you for watching the video, I hope to see you guys again in my next one. Take care, and goodbye.